Now, the research says that Black women on majority white teams have less billable hours, are given way more training hours, and are much more likely to have low performance reviews.
Hey guys, how are you all doing? It's your girl Cindy, and I'm back again today with another gist. I trust you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. So I just want us to see this video right here from this Black woman. I saw this video obviously on TikTok, and I found this video very interesting. And also, this video is something that a lot of Black women can relate to. She captioned this video. It says, Black women hired onto whiter teams are more likely to get flagged as low performance. Now, as a Black woman, can you relate? And also, she proceeded to say that Black women were the only demographic group to face significantly worse promotion and retention outcomes as a result of being placed on a whiter team. Now, as a Black woman, I can totally relate to this. Now, I just want us to see, let's just see this video. Let's just see the full video. And of course, I'm going to show you a few stitches. I just want us to have this conversation today. Now, note that this video is for educational purposes only. It is not to bully anyone or harass anyone, but it's just to create awareness so we all can see and know what is happening on social media, especially on TikTok. Let's check this video out.
Black women on all white teams are likely to receive low performance reviews. This research comes out of MIT, Harvard, and Boston University. And what's fascinating is they said, of all demographic groups, it is Black women's retention and promotional rates that are most negatively impacted by being on an all-white or majority white team. Now, the research says that Black women on majority white teams have less billable hours, are given way more training hours, and are much more likely to have low performance reviews. The research also says Black employees, but particularly Black women, reported numerous ways in which interacting with the majority white coworkers negatively influenced their participation and identified challenges relating to task assignment and performance evaluations. Now, something that I talk about all the time on my page is that competency is a system of oppression. And in the workplace, who we assign competency to is often based on our own biases. And it is Black women who are chronically seen as lacking competency, even when they demonstrate all of the skills. Further, as I highlighted in a recent video, task assignment within workplaces is deeply gendered and racialized. It is often Black women who are getting office work tasks, who are not getting tasks that will help advance their career, while it is dominant group employees who are given glamour tasks, tasks that help them ascend throughout their career. Research is deeply fascinating, and one of the reasons I focus on Black women so much in my DEI work is because I see no other marginalized group impacted quite the same as Black women are in the work environment. And this is because of misogynoir, the particular intersection of race and gender oppression. And this, of course, is worse for Black LGBTQ women, Black women with disabilities. And so in addressing the many ways that Black women are excluded in the work environment, in addressing the many ways that Black women face structural and systemic oppression in the work environment, we can actually alleviate a lot of the oppression that other groups experience as well. Liberation is interconnected. And when we really take a look at all the structural issues that are impacting Black women within the workforce, we can make really beautiful strides in DEI as a whole. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Ciara. I'm a DEI consultant and a theologian. So follow me for more content like this.
Now, I just want us to make this a conversation today. By the way, this video credit goes to this content creator, this Black woman. I'm going to tag her down below in the comments so you guys can please check her out on TikTok. Guys, if you check the comment section of this video, if you see the comment section of this video, you can literally see Black women in the comments pouring it out, sharing their experiences. It is exhausting. It is draining. Now, as I was reading the comments, I saw this comment, of course, from a Black woman. She says that one of her associates reported her to HR just because she told her to stop texting her about work projects on her day off. Just because of that, she got reported. Personally, I think this is an interesting conversation, and that is why I brought these videos here so we all could see them together and talk about it. Now, I have put together a few stitches. Let's just hear from other Black women. And of course, I'm going to show you some screenshots of comments I grabbed from her comment section. Please check the stitches out.
All white teams are likely to receive low performance reviews.
Ask me how I know. Ask me how I fucking know. So the very first job I ever worked when I was a teacher, I got pulled into a meeting by my principal, who told me that another teacher on my team said that I was unapproachable and intimidating because during my free period, when my classroom was being used by this other teacher to do test prep stuff, this teacher was upset that I didn't get up to help out during my free period. The problem is not me helping out. I gladly would have had this person asked. They never did. Instead, they went to the principal and told them that they were struggling in that class of 30 kids by themselves, and I'm just sitting there and I don't do anything but put my headphones on when I'm in the class. Baby, my headphones are on because I'm autistic. My headphones are on because these kids are loud as fuck and I can't get any work done. My headphones are on because it's my planning period, babe. And yet I was being labeled intimidating because this person was too scared to come up to my desk and say, hey, could you help me out for a second? The most recent job that I worked at a nonprofit where I was the only person of color in this office full of white women. And for some reason, while things started out good, and of course I got that label that every only Black woman coworker gets in the works is, you're so cool, you're so hilarious, you're so funny, which is great. I know those things about me. But it's something that happens when you are the only Black woman in the space where people kind of look to you to be the entertainment and look for you to be on all the time. And that was not me. I told my boss early on that I had autism and that I also have ADHD. And when I asked simply to close the door halfway and turn the lights off and use a lamp in my office, I was told that I would have to provide medical documentation that would then have to be submitted to the board of directors so they could approve these accommodations and make sure that they were not causing undue hardship for them. To turn the lights off, use a lamp, and close the door halfway. On top of that, I also used to get pulled into lots and lots of meetings with my boss. Many of these meetings happened within a week, where I was being told, you don't look happy. I don't know if you are connected to the mission we do here. I don't know if I trust your work. I don't know if I feel confident in the work that you do to let you work from home. For context, I never had a bad anything that anybody had to say about the work I did. I was good at what I did. The issue was that my boss never trusted me. Whenever my boss would take days off and work remote, this person was working all the time. Everybody trusted what she was doing. However, when I asked to work remote 1 day a week, which is something my boss told me I actually would be able to do after my 90 days, and then it never happened, I was told, I don't know if I trust you enough to let you work from home. What? And mind you, after like 6 months, my boss pulls me into a meeting and says, I don't really think you're doing all 3 parts of your job description because I only ever see you doing one. Dear reader, my boss was out of the office at least 3 days out of the week. And the times when she was in the office, she was in constant meetings, constant everything, and wasn't really interacting with the rest of us like that. So she actually had no idea what I was doing. So when I laid out the receipts and I was like, that's interesting because I've been doing da-da-da-da-da, and I've also been doing da-da-da-da-da for this job description, she goes, oh yeah, I guess you have. Bitch. If you're going to have a meeting with me and tell me I'm not doing my fucking job, you better know for absolutely certain and have receipts that I'm not doing my job. That's not what this was. My boss was very upset about the fact that I was uncomfortable around her. This is a person who would walk into the office and literally just stand right behind me for 30 minutes, just watching me while I was working. This is a person who would frequently lean into my personal space to get to me or get to something on my desk, to get to my computer. And me having had previous experiences with, people hitting me or assault, things like that, I get very antsy when people are super fucking close to me. And I don't do anything but just... And she took that as me being like mean to her or something. I don't know. Like, it was very, very strange. Ultimately, I did have to leave this job because there was just a number of instances of mismanagement, of hostile, like, workplace type things. And I did not really see any recourse because I felt like as long as this person was working there, I would not be able to grow professionally. I would not be able to work without, like, the constant threat of anxiety or things like that over my head.
Black women on all white teams are likely to receive low performance reviews. This research comes out of
As a Black woman who has worked in corporate America for 20 years, I have been on mostly all white teams my entire career, and it has sucked. And I've decided I cannot do corporate anymore. I am Generation X, but I identify as Generation Z. The way they want you to perform, the way they want to overwork your ass, the way they want you to kiss ass, the way they want you to basically work like a dog, get paid well sometimes, but they want all your time, all the time. It's just too consuming. If you question them, they're upset. If you don't say anything, they're upset. If you just have a look on your face, you're unapproachable. If you have the answer, they'll pretend they don't hear, and then Bob will have the answer, the same answer you fucking had. All of a sudden, it's a miraculous idea. It's time consuming, it's mentally exhausting, and I am just so glad that I made the decision to get the fuck out of corporate America. I fucking hate it.
Black women on all white teams are likely to receive low performance reviews. This research comes out of MIT.
It's so interesting, like having something that you've experienced your whole life actually be reaffirmed or amplified by the same industry that you're a part of. And hearing about this video, please watch it if you haven't, is not new news. And that's why I personally am so adamant about having a paper trail, being proactive at work, whether that be for one-on-ones or meeting a new person, my personal projects, keeping track of what I do, having all my communications in writing, because the moment that I experienced somebody including I wasn't smiling enough in a performance review, I knew what it was. And of course, it's unfair that a lot of Black women have to do this in any field. I personally am in STEM, study chemical engineering. I can definitely speak to in male-dominated fields. This is really an issue. Things I do to try to combat this, focus on the things that are within my control. Having relationships with people in the leadership team outside of my own boss. Setting up one-on-ones at a specific cadence. Doesn't have to be all the time, but it can be monthly. And during those meetings, having a one-pager to actually talk to or talk through certain things. Making sure that that person knows exactly what you're working on. And then sending that one-pager to them after the fact. Always networking, so if your department is on some weird stuff, you have people in other departments that are already invested in you as a person. I can really get into this, and I do plan to start making YouTube videos talking about my experience as a Black woman in STEM, but it feels really good to be reaffirmed. At the same time, it doesn't.
Black women on all white teams are likely to receive low performance reviews. This research comes out of MIT.
I wanted to address this content. My best friend sent me this video, and she sent me one that another content creator had done on this very same topic, except it was a Caucasian woman, and she was talking about the same research that came out of MIT. I had made a comment on another creator's page. It was a creator that was talking about the Dukes of Hazzard with Schneider getting investigated, blah, 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 blah. And because of my comment, a lot of people came out to comment on my comment on her page. And it was interesting to see the number of not only white men, but white women, you know, that want to push it under the rug. They want to say, live in the present, don't live in the past. Why is everyone still talking about racism? This is why. And I don't know if they still have blinders on, but let me tell you two quick little stories. The same exact thing that she's talking about happened to me at a workplace. And I can't tell all of the details about it because it is something that I have hired an attorney for. But I was the only African American on my team, and I was the oldest person on my team. And we're talking about a gender gap, an age gap, like 10 years, 15 years, couple of them, over 20 years age gap. I was the oldest one. Quick little story with this, without talking about the legal details that's going along with it. But I have 5 degrees. And I don't say that anybody that knows me, they would be shocked. I don't mention any of my background unless somebody asks me. I'm very humbled and I'm very appreciative of the education that I have received. At the same time, I went back to school for this position. I waited 5 years to get my foot in the door for this company. I kept trying and trying, and then if it wasn't good enough, I went back to school, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I prepare myself for when I have an interview. And that's what I did. I got an interview and I got hired. I worked for the company for 3 years before I transferred over to the position that I went back to school for. I was in that position, training was like 2 months, and then I was in that position for 2 months after that before I was terminated by white women. And the reason that they gave was so highly contradictory and ridiculous. And that's the part that angered me. What angered me the most, and this is for all of you guys that want to sit up here and say, why do black people still think about racism? Racism happened. This isn't the 1800s. Because it's still affecting us. And there are still racist people out there. And what angered me the most was every week I sat there trying to build rapport and talking about my family with my manager and answering her questions, things that I really was uncomfortable doing, but I'm just trying to be a team player because this was a job, my dream job. Now, I'm 52 years old. I had already had a career. I didn't have to go back to school. Nobody goes back to school and you already have over $200,000 in student loans and you already had a 30-year career. No one goes back to school to fuck up in the dream job that they have always wanted and waited years to get. It just doesn't work like that. And what angered me the most is I don't shuck and jive. But I sat and I tried to be conversational with answering her questions, things that could we just keep it on a professional level, but things that I was answering during our one-on-one meetings just to be a part of the team. And I got terminated. And so it angered me because I have kids. I had health insurance. And within 2 days, that was all wiped from under me. So if you are Caucasian and if you're in the corporate place of work and you lack diversity on your team, or you have that one lonely diverse person that's on your team, think about this. This is why it still exists, because stuff like this is still happening. And it's even harder for black men. But I'm not a man, so I'm only going off of my experiences as a black woman. So when you come across this type of content, don't blow it off. Who are you? Are you going to stand on the sidelines, or are you actually going to be out there trying to combat so that one day we really can believe and say racism doesn't exist? But as of January 2nd, 2024, it still does.
Now on your screen are some of the screenshots of comments I grabbed from her comment section so you guys can see what other people said about the video. Please pause to read if you want to. I was having this conversation, funny enough, with my friend 3 days ago. She was basically sharing her own experience at her place of work, and she told me that in the morning before she left for work, she would pause before she opened her door, get into her car and then drive to work, she would just pause and she would be like, God, please take control. Just for you all to know that it is draining. It is. Anyways, you guys, I thought I should bring these videos here. Let me know what you all think in the comment. If you want to share your own story with us, please share with us down in the comments, guys. And thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share, comment, and of course, come back for another video. I'm gonna see you all in my next one. You all stay blessed. Bye.